Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Naam. So in today's video, I wanted to give you guys an update about the $600 a week unemployment benefits. I also have been receiving a lot more questions just due to the fact that more and more businesses are opening. So in this video, I'll briefly go over all the programs and I'll do a Q&A of all the questions that I've been receiving. So there are 3 programs that make you eligible for the additional $600 a week. So the first program is the Pandemic Unemployment Compensation, also abbreviated as PEUC. So for anyone who is on unemployment right now or eligible for state unemployment benefits, normally like you work for an employer and you get a W-2, if you're eligible for unemployment, you will receive the extra $600 a week. So the next program is the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation Program. So this program extends your benefits for another 13 weeks. There are some variations to this program, so not everybody will qualify for it. So like here in California, if you exhausted your benefits prior to March 29th, which was the date of the CARES Act bill when it got passed, you will not be eligible to extend your benefits. But in other states such as Texas, if you exhausted your benefits in July of last year, you may be eligible to get an extension on your benefits. So it really depends on each one of your states. So the last program is the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program. So this program is more targeted towards self-employed, independent contractors, part-time workers, or just any type of individual who don't typically qualify for regular state unemployment benefits. This one also variations from state to state as well. So for any individual who exhausted their benefits, they may be eligible for this specific program. So that was a brief overview of all of the programs that can give you the additional $600 a week. So I'm gonna go off my phone and answer all these questions one by one. So the thing that I get asked most about is their eligibility. Everybody describes me their situation about this happened, would I be eligible for benefits? Yes, I can give you my own opinions of if you're eligible or not, but it really comes down to the state unemployment department. So if they deem you as eligible, they're the ones who have the final say if you can receive the unemployment benefits and also the extra $600 a week. So I can give you my insight and my opinions if you are eligible or not, but it really comes down to the state unemployment department. So the next question is that I was laid off previously due to the pandemic. I was approved for unemployment and the extra $600 a week, but my employer is asking me to go back to work. Can I keep my benefits and decide not to go back to work? So to answer this question, according to the Department of Labor, if you decide to quit your job to try to get benefits, that does count towards fraud. So I have been receiving a lot of comments saying that you can't quit your job to get unemployment. This is coming from the Department of Labor, so I just go towards that information, okay? So if your employer is asking you to return back to work, there is a process for your employers to actually report you to the unemployment agencies so they can disqualify you from your benefits. I'm not 100% sure of how quickly this can be done, just due to the fact that most of these unemployment offices are very backed up and everything is like crashing and nobody's returning their calls. And if they do get through all the payments that they made for you, you would have to pay all that back. So the best thing you can do is to return back to work. So you just have to avoid all the legalities of fraud and just all this trouble that you may be causing yourself later. So another question I've been receiving is about reduced hours. So for anyone who has a reduction in hours, you still may be eligible for state unemployment benefits. So depending on how many hours that you actually work per week, that will determine your state unemployment benefits. So if you do get approved for state unemployment benefits, you will automatically get the extra $600 a week. So depending on the state that you live in, if your weekly maximum is $450, and if you make more than that, even working part-time, you may not be eligible for state unemployment benefits. I also got some clarification also in the comments stating that this is based off your adjusted gross income. So technically you can make like almost $600, but after taxes, but if it's less than your state weekly amount, you can still be eligible. So the next question I've been receiving a lot is about slow work or slow commissions. So if your business is slow, like it's not getting enough customers as it used to be, so you're not receiving as much commissions as you were, just due to the fact that business is slow does not qualify you for state unemployment benefits, so you would not be eligible for the additional $600 a week. So another question that I've been receiving a lot is about exhausted benefits. This one is really hard to answer because I have to keep this very vague because each state has their own rules on how to deal with exhausted benefits. Here in California, so to qualify for an extra $600 a week or the extended benefits, if you exhausted your benefits prior to March 29th, you will not get an extension. But in other states like Washington, New York, or even Texas, if you exhausted your benefits prior to even that date, like even last year, you may be eligible to get an extension on your benefits for an extra 13 weeks. So to add to that, if you already exhausted your benefits and you do not qualify for the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation, you can also have an option of applying for Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, which is the PUA. As a reminder, this really depends on your state as well. Some states will allow you to apply to that because you may be eligible, but some states will not. So your best source of information is going through your unemployment state's website. So the next question that I've been receiving is about disqualifications. So under this whole CARES Act, if you're eligible for unemployment and to receive the extra $600 a week, you do not have to look for work. But I've been receiving a lot of comments and questions about people have been getting disqualified just due to the fact that they have not been looking to work. So even though that some states' unemployment website, they tell you that you will not get disqualified if you do not look for work, but a lot of people are actually getting disqualified. So once your application does get disqualified, it's going to be very difficult to actually get that decision reversed. So you can either try to contact somebody from the offices, email them, or fax them, but it's going to just take more time to try to get that problem solved. So I'm not 100% sure if they're going to resolve this problem into their system so nobody gets disqualified. So your best bet is actually just to look for work and just say yes that you did, even though you have to apply to some applications online, like online applications and things like that. But that's your best bet to not get disqualified from unemployment. Again, that's just my own personal opinion because I just don't want you guys just to get disqualified even though the state says to not look for work, okay? I say just look for work anyways, even though you're not required to, just so you don't have any delay in your payments. So the next thing I'm gonna talk about is the PUA application. So the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program. So this one's for self-employed, independent contractors, gig workers, part-time workers, or any individual who does not have enough work history. So if you already applied for regular state unemployment benefits and you got a paper in the mail stating that you have $0 in benefits, you may have to apply for a separate application. So the PUA application will vary from state to state. So here in California, if you have any type of work with an employer in the past 18 months, you will not be eligible for the PUA application. So you just be eligible for the regular state unemployment. But if you do not have any work history from an employer for the past 18 months and you've been self-employed that whole time, you would be eligible for this application. So your best source of information for the PUA application is the state's unemployment website. Because I know that there's been plenty of states who do not have this application up and running yet. So for any individual who's self-employed, you may have to wait towards a certain date to apply for this application. So like here in California, it recently just opened on April 28th. So some states are probably doing something very similar. You may have to wait until there's a specific application just for you guys. So typically for PUA applications, it's for anyone who does not qualify for regular state unemployment. So if you already exhausted your benefits and you do not qualify for regular state unemployment benefits anymore or an extension, your best bet is to apply for this application. But again, just check your unemployment state's website just to make sure that you are eligible for this application. So my next question is that what if I took time off work to study or pursue a different matter? Do I qualify for unemployment? So again, this really depends on your state. But for instance, if you worked any time in the past 18 months, you may be eligible for unemployment benefits since your employer has probably put that money into the system. But again, this is usually a case-by-case basis and each state varies. So I would say just apply to see if you qualify. So the next question is about stay-at-home wives or stay-at-home husbands. Do they qualify for unemployment? So to answer this question, most likely they will not be qualified for unemployment just due to the fact that they may not have enough work history for state unemployment benefits. The only way I can see them being eligible is that if they were staying at home before and they were supposed to start a new job and the job was on hold just due to this pandemic, they would be eligible for unemployment. So the next question is about overpayments. So if you are eligible for state unemployment benefits and the additional $600 a week, if you are overpaid, the state will most likely deduct the amount that they will be giving you until that amount is already paid off. But that's only the case if you are eligible for unemployment. So some states, they do require you to pay the overpayment first before you become eligible for more unemployment benefits. All right, so next let's talk about penalties. So if you apply for unemployment and you receive a letter in the mail stating that your status is in a penalty status, you have to really think about why you received the penalty. So there's usually two types of situations where it was due to fraud or non-fraud. So if it was fraud, basically stating that you lied on your application and they found out, so they put your application on hold until they can resolve the situation, or you may not be eligible for any type of benefits for weeks, months, or even possibly years. So depending on the case. So for non-fraud cases such as overpayment or something like that, you usually have to resolve that issue first before you become eligible for more benefits. So if you see like a little status saying that penalty for 6 weeks, that means that you are not eligible for any benefits until 6 weeks later. So hopefully that helps. So something that I have been seeing a lot is that I applied for unemployment like over a month ago or even weeks ago, but still haven't heard a response and I have not received any unemployment benefits. What can I do? I wish I could really give you guys an answer to this, but there's really nothing that you guys can do because most of these systems, they're really out of date. They can't handle all these applications applications, and they're not able to process the amount of applications that they are receiving. So for all these agencies are very short staffed and they cannot handle all the applications that are coming in. So the best thing you guys can do is try to call early as you can in the day or late in the evening. If you're trying to apply online, try to apply on off-peak hours, which can sometimes be midnight or very early morning if the applications allow you to do so. Even though the majority of states have started to send out the extra $600, the remaining states, I really hope that they could get their act together so you guys can get your guys' money. All right, guys, so I think I covered most questions that I have been receiving lately. So if you guys have any more questions, let me know in the comments below. If you guys want to watch more of my videos, hang out with me some more over here.